forward what I've learned in speech and debate in multiple different ways, whether that be helping the 3rd and 4th graders at my school with their debate club, teaching them what an argument is, or helping the middle schoolers and their debate club at my school, kind of helping them with their cases, doing a little judging for my school for free, whether that be in the short term and hopefully in the long term, and really just trying to give back to speech and debate what it's given to me, which I honestly don't know if I physically can do, considering how much I've been given by speech and debate.
I am paying forward what I have learned in speech and debate by continuing the legacy of our speech and debate club at my high school. Initially, we were a club of 5 members, learning 2 different events: congressional debate and original oratory. Now, our club strength is 40 members, and we are learning 6 different events.
I'm paying forward what I learned in speech and debate by helping immigrants become United States citizens. Speech and debate has shown me the power of effective communication. And this is really important in my service in particular, because a lot of times my students don't know English very well. And it is essential for me to be able to communicate ideas very effectively about American history, government, and civics for them to understand and be prepared for the citizenship exams. A lot of times for these immigrants, the cards are stacked against them. They didn't have the ability to learn English very well, or they didn't have the ability to go to the education that I had and learn what they have to know for these tests, which is why it is really important for me to give back to my community and engage in this community service.
For the past 3 years, I've been involved in Beyond Resolve, which is the largest student-led advocacy organization inside the speech and debate space. I served as the research and education director, managing the argument breakdown, working on Beyond Resolve Institute, and numerous other projects. In addition, I conducted a narrative-based research project on the transgender experience in high school speech and debate, which not only has continued to inform my understanding of trans rights outside of the speech and debate community, but also the advocacy that I've done on the wave of anti-trans bills passed this last legislative session. In addition, I've also become involved in different climate advocacy circles through United States Climate Strike, where my skills speaking persuasively and researching have come in handy.
In June and July, I used the organization skills that I learned just from being a competitor in this activity to organize fundraisers for Black Lives Matter. Racial injustice obviously is something that both impacts me and also something that I have a certain degree of privilege in, coming from the area that I live in. It's a predominantly white city. In June, I organized a fundraiser with my friends. It was a social media fundraiser that raised over $3,000 in less than 24 hours that was used to help those who were displaced by the protest in Minneapolis.
Advocacy honestly lied at the core of my speech and debate journey, and there's a lot of reasons why I believe that speech and debate students should be advocates. For one, speech and debate, without a doubt, equips you with the skills and the tools necessary to be the best advocate, the ability to collect information, to articulate yourself in a way that is clear and understandable. Those skills make for the best form of advocacy.
I think the most important thing that I can do is really impart the skills that I've learned onto the next generation and truly teach them that their voice matters too. I've done that in so many ways, from helping lead a nonprofit and host affordable workshops that teach social justice and education, to even furthering the lessons that are taught at Title I middle schools in my local community. I think the most important thing that we can do as speech and debaters is show others that their voice matters too. And that's what I've really tried to do these past few years with all of the skills that I've developed.
In my mind, equality means like that golden rule, treating everyone how you want to be treated, that type of thing. But I feel like equity is more than that. Equity is treating everyone how they deserve to be treated, which takes into account their humanity, because not everyone necessarily wants to be treated the same way as you, but everyone has a base level of how they deserve to be treated because they're all human.
Service is a cycle. So many wonderful people helped my team reach new heights. I owe it to others to serve and inspire them.
We have the ability to empower others with our voice. Every weekend we listen to story after story that are often neglected by the media and by education. It is important that as speech and debate students, we advocate for these people and we allow their stories to come to light. It is the only way that we can create a more inclusive and a much more tolerant society. Speech and debate is my superpower that allows me to help people, and I want to continue to do it.
Speech and debate, I think, is very unique in the skill set that it develops. Speaking persuasively, learning how to research effectively, and engage with people of different identities and thought processes. All of these skills are very, very, very useful in advocating in the outside community, no matter what that movement may be. I found this to be personally very, very important, having the skills that I've learned in the speech and debate community and applying them to the LGBTQ+ civil rights movement, in addition to climate advocacy and advocacy in so many other areas.
If it's not us, then who will be, Yes, this activity is fun and competitive, but something that my coaches always talk about is it's also really, really academic and it's educational, and we should be using these tools that we learn through this activity to be advocates. I think one of my biggest examples, and I use this all the time, is it's important for us to advocate outside of our rounds because generally our rounds are safe spaces for a lot of these speakers. You will not be judged that harshly in these rounds, honestly. But the problem is when we don't advocate in spaces that make us uncomfortable or are unsafe for others, then it just turns into this echo chamber kind of.
So service is very important to me because it is one of the key ways that you can go about taking theoretical change and making it physical change. And when I say that, it's easy to talk about things, but it's much more difficult to actually take those things and make them tangible improvements. And that is why service is so important, because service is what allows for that transition. It allows for us to go from pen and paper to building houses, to changing communities, to changing lives. And it's for that very reason that service is something that is so imperative to me.
Advocacy without action is really worthless. There's so many causes that we talk so much about, but at the end of the day, if we aren't taking action, if we aren't serving our communities actively and being involved in actually changing the problem, then we're not going to make any true change to the communities and to the problems that exist in the status quo.
Our ability to evoke change in communities is knowing when we are beat, so that we can rise up stronger together.